Hive Treasure Wars is the most sweatiest game on the Hive, and it has 100 levels, but it can take a while to grind. So in today's episode, I'll be showing you guys how you can get max level fairly easily and quickly. So yeah, be sure to leave a like and subscribe because it really helps me out a ton, and let's get on with the first tip. So, how much XP do you get for different things in Treasure Wars? Well, in every game mode except Mega, kills equal 5 XP, final kills equal 10, destroying a treasure equals 50, and winning also equals 50. But in Mega, a kill equals 4, a final kill equals 8, destroying a treasure or a minion equals 30, and the win equals 50. Now, Treasure Wars Mega is probably the slowest way you can grind Treasure Wars, so that's why I'll be particularly sticking to the other modes. Now, I grinded Treasure Wars by just doing solos and rushing people, getting blocks, getting a sword, and just rushing people, destroying their treasure, and then generally just going to the next island unless I want to get the final kill as well. Personally, I went for the final kill, but it costs you more time. But if you're down with it, then I suggest go for it, honestly. Now, that was the only way I had to do it, just because I didn't have any friends online. But if you do have any friends online, I'd suggest getting them and just playing trios. If you get a couple of good players that are great at the game and are sweats basically, you can go for trios and you can basically rush people and also get their treasures, and you get part of the XP. It doesn't matter who kills the treasure, you all get the XP. But do note that final kills and kills are separate. Now, when you're grinding trios and squads, you obviously want to have friends that are pros at the game, that are maybe sweats, or just know the game great enough that you can basically dominate it every round. Now, I would very much suggest you looking out for some people that want to help you out. For example, in the Hive Discord server, they have a chat called Looking for Parties, which basically you just say that you need help and people might come to your aid and help you out. That's probably the best way if you don't have any friends, to just play with some sweats that you probably don't know, but they will still help you out. Now, squads is basically the same thing with you rushing people with your friends, but you already have trios, so you might as well just do that, unless you have one more player that's also cracked at the game, I guess. So Treasure Wars having the most amount of XP on any Hive game currently, with 566,100 with an XP cap at level 53. Now, it may seem that Treasure Wars takes a lot longer to grind, but honestly that just isn't the case. Murder Mystery's XP cap is way higher than Treasure Wars, and you do get more XP per game in Treasure Wars rather than Murder Mystery. So yeah, now it's time for maps. So personally, I always picked Library and Mushroom. Though I picked those maps just because it only required half a stack of blocks to bridge from one island to another. And in saving time, that's pretty great actually. Some key things you have to know about when grinding Treasure Wars in solos is that you need to learn how to jump bridge or long bridge. You need to just bridge fast to get to the next person before they rush you, and also to have somewhat of a good clicking method somewhere, like a butterfly clicking or drag clicking or anything like that. I really very much suggest for you to learn. Now, when you're grinding Treasure Wars, it's not really required to go to middle. Personally, if I have to go to middle, I do, but I just want to save time, so that's why you just rush people. And plus, you do get a lot of diamonds from when you collect diamonds from the diamond generators, so you can get iron armor and an iron sword, so that kind of saves it out, I guess. Now, Treasure Wars Trios by far is the fastest way to grind, just because one, even though you have less treasures in it, you end up wasting way less time than if you were grinding solos, which is interesting. My tips for grinding Treasure Wars Trios and Squad would include just rushing other people, getting armor, and basically just go around town and just rush people. There isn't really anything else you could do. You don't need to go to middle for emeralds, that just wastes more time. So yeah. Now, there are also some bad things that you should never ever do while you're grinding Treasure Wars. The worst one is probably just spending too much time in one game. Basically, when you're grinding games, it's all about getting as much XP as possible and doing it in as quick as time as possible. If you spend too much time in a game Whether it's collecting emeralds, whether it's collecting diamonds to beat the other person, it doesn't matter. Sometimes in a game where you just have one person and another person, you much rather just queue into another game than fighting them, because the payout of 20 XP plus the win is not worth it. But if you are the type of guy that wants to go after it, then sure. But personally, I wouldn't do it just because it wastes a lot more unnecessary time than it's needed to. And also another thing is just basically not going for treasures and just going after kills. This is also a very bad thing to do while you're grinding treasure wars, because final kills and kills don't really give you as much XP as a treasure does. Basically, for treasure wars, it's just about the treasures. It's not about the kills. Even if you're in a solos game where a bunch of people are still alive but you got all the treasures, it's again much better to just requeue than going after the kills and win. I would very much recommend that, even though a bunch of people stick around, but it depends on your own personal preference, I guess. Now, another final tip for when you're playing treasure wars, basically queuing into games, is just try to keep away from the higher levels when you're queuing into games. Basically, this is a very standard one. If you have people with lower levels, you're more likely to get, noobs and basically people that aren't experienced in the game, unlike you. So that means you can have an even more easier time destroying their treasures and killing them as well. Now, I want to mention this. Levels have nothing to do with experience in the game. It just shows you how long or how much you've played that game. But anyone can have the same amount of experience or sweatiness as a person that has level 100. It's just a skill that you develop over time as you play and grind the game. So please do note that. And just before this video ends, I want to mention some quick fun facts about Treasure Wars. One, the costume that you get for maxing a game. In Treasure Wars, you don't get it at level 100, you get it at level 75, which is pretty good. But this is only just because Treasure Wars has constantly been updating in its levels from level 20 to level 50 to level 75, and then finally to level 100. Another fun fact about Treasure Wars, I guess, a bunch of the maps have been converted from their original versions, whether it's Halloween, whether it's winter. They have been converted to a standardized permanent version of Treasure Wars. These tips are, not many. There are a ton more strategies and tricks and other ways to grind, but these are probably just the best ones and the main ones you should focus on. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below telling me what game I should do next tutorial on how to grind, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!